cheap mini projectors that promise a home theater on a budget often turn out to be more disappointment than delight. You get a dim, washed-out picture, a flimsy stand that wobbles when you try to tilt it, and a remote that feels like it was designed for a toaster. That's the kind of buyer's regret I've seen show up in a lot of YouTube comments and forum threads. The question is whether Epson's EpiqVision Mini EF22 feels like the smarter buy that actually delivers on the hype. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. When you're standing in the aisle, the first thing that makes you hesitate is the price tag. It's higher than the $100 backyard projector you can find on a flash sale, but lower than a full-blown 4K cinema-grade unit. That middle ground makes people wonder, am I overpaying for features I'll never use, or am I avoiding the cheap and cheerful trap? The biggest fear is spending money on a device that looks great on the spec sheet but falls apart the moment you try to set it up in a living room with a few windows open. That's why I spent the last week actually setting up the Mini EF22 in 3 different environments: a dark home theater, a semi-bright kitchen, and a backyard with a patio umbrella to see how it performs when the lights are on and the stakes are real. Let's start with the picture. Epson uses a 3-chip 3 LCD engine paired with a laser light source that pushes out 1000 lumens. In a darkened room, that's more than enough to fill a 100-inch screen with a vivid image that looks sharp enough for most Netflix shows and YouTube videos. The laser source also means you won't be swapping bulbs every few months. Epson advertises 20,000 hours of life, which translates to years of set-and-forget use. I tried a couple of HDR titles on Google TV, and while the dynamic range isn't going to rival a high-end OLED TV, the colors are noticeably richer than the cheap LED projectors that usually bleed into gray. That's where the value really shows up. You get a bright, colorful picture without the maintenance nightmare of traditional lamps. The built-in speakers are another practical point. Epson lists stereo speakers, and they're surprisingly decent for a portable projector. In a small apartment, the sound fills the room enough for a casual movie night or a video call without needing a separate soundbar. Of course, if you're a true audiophile, you'll want to hook up external speakers via the audio out, but for the average user who just wants plug-and-play entertainment, the integrated audio hits the sweet spot between too quiet and overly boomy. Setup is where the Mini EF22 tries to differentiate itself. Epson's EpiqSense technology uses 4 sensors to automatically adjust picture size, focus, and keystone as soon as you place the projector on a surface. I placed it on a coffee table, on a bookshelf, and even on a folding table at a backyard barbecue. In each case, the projector sensed the distance and angle, and within seconds the image was perfectly rectangular and in focus. The 360-degree swivel stand with tilt makes it easy to fine-tune the angle without juggling a separate tripod. That kind of just point-and-go experience is a huge time saver, especially if you're the type who sets up and tears down a movie night every weekend. Now for the connectivity. The Mini EF22 runs Google TV right out of the box, giving you access to over 10,000 apps: Netflix, Disney+, YouTube, and even a handful of gaming services. I was able to sign into my Netflix account in under a minute, and the remote felt responsive. There's also a USB-C port for power, a wireless LAN, and Bluetooth for audio streaming. What it doesn't have is a full suite of HDMI inputs, which means you can't plug in a gaming console or a Blu-ray player without an external adapter. If you're looking for a pure streaming device, that's fine, but if you plan to use the projector as a secondary monitor for a laptop or a console, you'll need to buy a separate HDMI to USB-C converter, adding a small but noticeable extra cost. Who should buy this? If you live in a small apartment or a house with a decent amount of blackout curtains, and you want a portable device that can double as a TV, a presentation screen, and a backyard cinema, the Mini EF22 hits a sweet spot. It's also great for frequent travelers. The compact footprint and the laser light source mean you won't be lugging around a heavy lamp or worrying about bulb life on the road. Families that enjoy occasional movie nights but don't want to invest in a full home theater system will find the built-in speakers and Google TV integration a convenient all-in-one solution. Who should skip it? If you're a serious cinephile who demands 4K resolution, high contrast ratios, and a projector that can compete with a premium TV in a bright living room, this isn't the unit for you. The 1000 lumens, while solid, can